bed at around 9 o'clock when I got the email, and when I read the opening line, my whole body froze. This was last year when I was living in Spain, and I had applied for my visa in October, and was hoping it would be approved in time for me to go home for Christmas. And a small part of me was kind of expecting it wouldn't be. I mean, that's only like 2 months, and the visa process and all those things are very slow. But I was still holding on to that hope to go home for Christmas. And it wasn't until I read in that email clear as day that I would not be going home and I would not be seeing my family until June of that year. So instead, I went to spend Christmas with my host family, and we went to the family's house in a village about 2 hours away from where we lived. And it was just really cute, small town with like cobblestone sidewalks and houses very close together, like almost all connected. And inside the house, it was this small, cozy place where all the grandparents came, the great-grandparents, the aunts, everyone. So we were all like packed into this one place. And all on the walls were these like paintings and decorative plates and a bunch of just little details. There were family photos all over all the tables and the kids' toys just sprawled out everywhere. So it was a very like warm place to be. And it reminded me a lot of my grandparents' farm. Not necessarily like how it looked in the decoration, but just kind of the stillness of it. And it was in the mountains, so there were these beautiful, every time you went outside, you see the blue sky and then these beautiful mountains towering over you. So it was just a beautiful place. Meanwhile, my family was going on a trip to New York City that I obviously wasn't going with them. And I remember going on a walk outside and looking up at these big mountains and thinking about how tall they were and wondering if my sister was in New York City looking up at a building and thinking the same thing. And overall, I mean, I had a nice time there. The family was so welcoming, and they were always offering me food and coffee, and we'd go on walks and they'd give me their scarves and jackets because I didn't pack well enough for how cold it was. But it's still obviously a weird experience to be with this family and you're kind of like a stranger in it. And they would say things to me, and sometimes I didn't understand what they would say in Spanish, and I would just like nod my head and go along with it. So it was still, we'd play games and they tried to include me as much as they can, but I still felt very much on the outside. So then New Year's rolled around, and we had this big feast, and we ate grapes as the clock was counting down, and we drank champagne, and we all were like, Happy New Year, and we danced. And then I remember I went to bed, and I set my alarm for 6 a.m., which would be midnight here. And I woke up like in my bed, and I just counted in my head like to watch, and imagining my family all together watching the ball drop on the TV. And I didn't have any Wi-Fi or service in this town, so I didn't talk to my family the whole time over Christmas either. So we didn't do anything. But I just remember counting down in my head, and I kind of like whispered under my breath, Happy New Year, and they went back to sleep. And that was, you know, a little piece of connection even when I'm all the way across the ocean from them. And then we celebrated Three Kings Days, which is like January 6th, I think. And it was the night before, and the whole family was up and like preparing things for the next day. They were wrapping the presents after the kids went to bed and eating like the chocolates they had all left for them and getting everything ready. And then once it was done, we all went to bed. And I woke up the next morning to the sound of the kids running down the stairs and like talking very eagerly about their presents and pointing to them. And so I followed them down the stairs to watch them open, and one of the kids grabbed a present and ran over to me and handed it to me, and it was this little red box with my name on it, which I was very confused because I was there the whole time when they were wrapping the presents, getting them ready. But they must have done this after I had left, and they came back downstairs to make it for me. And I carefully unwrapped it, trying to like not crease the paper at all to keep it. And it was this little, like one of those tea bag holders with a little avocado charm on the very end. And I smiled, and I looked around, and I was holding it in my hand, and I was looking at all the people around me, the kids like frantically unwrapping all their presents, their parents like begging them to slow down and stop throwing paper everywhere, and the grandparents all taking pictures of them. And in that moment, just from that like little gift, that was the first time I felt like part of their family.